Hey everyone, welcome to the Never Split Up podcast. My name's Nolan, that's Anthony, and welcome to episode 32. Today we are having a fun review. We're going to be covering Snakes on a Plane, released in 2006. What's going on, Anthony? How you doing?
I'm doing good. We're really in the heat of summer now, so this is a great movie to cover.
Yeah, we were just talking before I pressed record how I love my creature features in the summer. And this is just a fun movie. It's got the summer vibes. It takes place briefly on Hawaii, so you kind of got the Hawaii vibes in the beginning. So it's a ton of fun. This was your pick, so
Yes.
I know you're excited to talk about this. Before we dive right in, we'll get some announcements out of the way. We had 2 polls, correct, Anthony, that
Yep.
we ran because we were a little behind
Yes.
on the polls. Do you want to announce the winners of those?
Yes. So, guys, again, a couple of weeks ago we had Nolan's wife now on for Insidious. Our original Insidious we covered around the time the Red Door came out, and that was a good episode. So you guys definitely should go check that out. I know the Insidious franchise is beloved by many, so check it out. But Jackie, she actually won the poll, so that was cool that we had a guest win the poll that week. She chose that Josh left Dalton in the further pretty much by himself, so I thought that was a good pick.
Really good
So yeah,
moment
so
from
she
her
was
too,
a
for a
winner.
beginner. Yeah.
Yes, she picked a good moment. And then we did the last, our newest episode, Rec. We ran a poll, and I came out on top for that. So that was also a good. We had a pretty good turnout for Rec. So thank you guys for checking out foreign found footage movie that we covered. I actually really enjoyed that episode too. But yeah, I came out on top for that one. So I don't know how you want to do it for this one. I guess I'll go first and Shaq you one, and then she'll reserve the right to pick first the next time she's on the show.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Okay, because I'm sure she'll be back on the podcast
Yes,
for
she gave
another
us a list.
Insidious or yeah, she has a few different movies she wants to come on for, so that'll be fun. But yeah, guys, definitely check out those latest episodes, Wreck and Insidious. I thought they were pretty good episodes. I thought Jackie brought a cool perspective for Insidious. It's one of her favorite franchises. Wreck is a really super cool movie, found footage movie. You might be more familiar with Quarantine. That's the American version, but it's based on the Spanish movie Wreck. And this is just like a semi announcement. This is like kind of a lull for us in the summer. I know we haven't released an episode in a couple weeks. We might be going bi-weekly. I'm not sure. But just take a look out for that. If you don't see an episode every week for the next few weeks, it's because we're kind of we got things in the works. We're gonna be experimenting a little bit, trying some new episodes before the Halloween season, because once Halloween season gears up, we're gonna be really going at it and doing some big movies. So if it's not enough content for you, we got 31 episodes already. This is episode 32. Definitely go back and check out the older episodes. I'm really proud of some of those. I know our first, what was it, 10 episodes were not on YouTube. So if you do listen on YouTube and you want to check out some of our earliest episodes, you can do that on Spotify and iTunes, wherever you can get like a podcast, just the audio only. There's no video. But yeah, check out those older episodes. We would love to hear your feedback on those. And
We did some biggies with those too.
yeah, we did. We did a lot of biggies. We covered a lot of new releases. We covered a lot of classics. We did some seasonal episodes. So I'm really proud of those episodes. So if you haven't gone back, now's the time to do it before we get into the holiday season with Halloween and stuff. Definitely check those out. So any other announcements before we get into Snakes on a Plane, Ant?
No, we're ready to talk about these fucking snakes on this fucking plane.
Yep. This was your pick. Do you want to just go over, I guess, the cast? Pretty stacked cast, actually.
Stacked, guys.
I always forget how many people are in this movie.
Yeah, so I mean, guys, the premise, if you don't know, I mean, the title of the movie is the premise, Snakes on a Plane, but I'll just give you the IMDb blurb. An FBI agent takes on a plane full of deadly venomous snakes deliberately released to kill a witness being flown from Honolulu to Los Angeles to testify against a mob boss. Nolan said it came out in 2006. It's directed by David R. Ellis, who, fun fact, directed my favorite Final Destination movie and my least favorite Final Destination movie. And also Shark Night and some other fun, wacky things. So he's definitely a B movie. Well, he was. Unfortunately, he passed away. but he's a good B movie horror director. It stars the good old Samuel Jackson. But we have I don't know if you, I met Juliana Margulies back in the ER days, so that's what I know her from, but she's in it. She's also in Ghost Ship.
Yeah.
Nathan Phillips is the witness who sees the murder in the beginning. I don't know if people know, but he was in the original Wolf Creek. Um, I mean, we got Kenan Thompson, Saturday Night Live. We just had covered a movie with the wonderful Lynn Shay, and she has a great part in this movie. I mean, it's kind of a little bit of embarrassment of riches, which is pretty awesome that they agreed to be in this super, super, super B horror movie.
Yeah.
Even Chris Hemsworth's wife, she's in the movie too. She's the one with the baby, on the plane. So it's a really stacked cast, and it's just a fun time. And I think everyone knew who were involved in the movie that we just want to go have a fun time and make this blast of a movie. I don't know if you know, back in 2006, the internet wasn't what it is now, but I remember like the message boards and shit were like so hyped about this movie just off the title alone. So it got so much hype. And New Line and Warner Brothers, thankfully, they originally shot it for it to be like PG-13, and they did like reshoots for a couple weeks or a few days, and they made it rated R, which thank God, because this movie works because it's so like over the top and R-rated, and sex, blood, and ridiculousness. So thank God they did that. But it actually came out and it didn't do as well. It didn't meet the internet hype. It didn't flop, but it was more of like kind of like a slight disappointment. But I kind of like that because now it has that like cult, like, midnight summer movie vibe. So yeah, I adore that about it. So yeah, pretty cool facts about the movie. But yeah, Snakes on a Plane. Sit back, relax, enjoy the fright. That was the tagline.
Yeah, talk about embarrassment of riches. You have Taylor Kitsch, who's in a small role.
Yeah.
He plays the horny dude with the blonde.
He was brought in for the reshoots. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could obviously tell. You could tell where this movie was reshot. You have the sex scene. You have some scenes that are like way gory and violent that like come out of nowhere, but
so
you're like, holy shit! But you could tell that was probably part of the reshoots too.
Oh yeah.
Also, we have a veteran from the Never Split Up podcast. We have David Kochner is playing the captain.
Yes.
He's fucking great. He's such a great character actor. I love him in this role, and so sad when he dies. Actually, he plays such a lovable asshole so well. Like in all of his movies,
he wasn't that much of an asshole in this one.
No, not that much, but he kind of with his like remarks towards the stewardesses and stuff. But yeah, he was in Krampus. So again, check out our Krampus episode featuring David Kochner.
Talk about an asshole.
And yeah, but yeah, there's actually a few more. We don't have to get into all the actors, but those are the big ones.
Yeah, there's so many.
I haven't seen this movie in quite some time, and it was fun for me. Every time a new actor came on screen, I was like, oh my god. I'm like, is that Taylor Kitsch? Oh my god, yeah, it is. Wow.
Yeah.
I completely forgot he was in this movie. And because probably the last time I saw this movie, he wasn't like the big star he is now. So I never really connected the dots and went back to realize he was in this movie. And,
he was just like the good-looking young dude who they got to like after Friday Night Lights to be in the movie. That's pretty much what it was.
Exactly. That's a little disappointing. Your story about the message boards. At that time, 2006. So we were like, I guess like freshmen.
We were in high school. Yeah,
in high school. Freshman, I was not as active. I guess you're talking about like message boards, like movie, like on the internet.
Like movie, like because it's not like today where you like open up Twitter and talk about everything.
No, I was less active. I do know that it was like being talked about a lot because it was on the news and stuff, and I remember in school like everyone was talking about it, but it's kind of disappointing that it didn't really do well in the box office, so that kind of sucks. But I know
it made its budget back worldwide, but it didn't like blow up like they were expecting,
Yeah. Interesting. What was the budget?
I think after everything it was 33 million, so for what they did with it,
it's pretty modest. Pretty good. Yeah.
It made 62 million worldwide, so it's not great. Like when you have a budget of 33 million, but I mean, it didn't flop. That's what I'm saying. It was just a disappointment, kind of.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, well, let's get right into it. I guess we'll share our, I mean, this is just a stupid, fun movie, but I guess we'll share our overall thoughts and if we recommend it or not.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, if you like fun,
cool.
I would recommend it. That's pretty much my thoughts, but why don't you go first?
Yeah, I mean, this movie is like 2 thumbs way up for me, man. I remember seeing this in the theater, and I was like so excited. I was such a good like movie lover. I made my mom like she didn't want to go see it, so she like brought me and my sister, but I made her buy like an extra ticket so like the movie got money. So I brought like 3 tickets still because I'm an idiot. But I just remember sitting in that theater. I'm like, this movie is a fucking blast. It's way bloodier than I thought it was gonna be. Like it has some gnarly scenes. And like you said, it opens in Hawaii, so you have like that beach vibe, the summer vibe, and then it's a like pretty vicious turn in the beginning with that like beating. I'm like, damn, this movie's gonna be like that. I thought it was gonna be like stupid, like pull away from the blood, like just see some snakes, like kind of like Anaconda. But I have a really good time with it. The actors all are game for whatever. I mean, you got Samuel L. Jackson like fighting snakes and saying motherfucker. I mean, I don't. What else do you really want in a summer horror movie? Um, it has the good. I think the first half is better than the second half, but that's the only, I guess, nitpick I would have.
Okay.
Because kind of once they, after like the whole initial attack, it's kind of just like, how are we gonna land the plane? How are we gonna do this? We're losing AC. It's kind of like, all right, let's get to it. But I have a blast with it, and I adore this movie so much. David R. Ellis really knew how to make a good B popcorn horror movie, so it's a bummer that he's not around to continue. But yeah, I really, 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 really have a blast with it. And it's nostalgic for me. We're 90s kids, so I grew up, we were in high school when this came out, so I'll always remember the initial release. So I look fondly back on this movie.
Cool. So recommendation for you.
Oh yeah, huge.
If you like,
I mean, like I said, if you like
cheesy.
fun, you can turn your brain off. I mean, just fucking let's watch it.
It's
masterpiece.
It's not scary at all. Like
No,
it's
fun. It has like
really
creepy
just...
scenes though. If you have a phobia of snakes, definitely has some.
That's true. That's true. I don't have that phobia, but that is a pretty common phobia.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's true. But it's just so most of the snakes are CGI, if not all of them. So
yeah. They did use a lot of real snakes though. I think I read somewhere.
Yeah, but like most of the like attacking scenes and stuff. Like, obviously,
yeah, of course,
so
yeah. But you can tell like when they like threw some on the ground, like the real ones on the ground.
Yeah.
But when I'm like biting people's faces and tongues
and
out,
it's dated enough to where you can just kind of laugh at it.
Yeah.
It's not like super scary. I wasn't
charm.
sure what to think of this going in for my rewatch. Again, it's been quite some time since I've watched this. I was a little afraid that it was going to feel very dated and I wasn't going to have as much fun with it. But I was pleasantly surprised. I had just as much fun with it as I remember having with it the last time I saw it and when it first came out. I think I agree with you. If I had to nitpick the movie, which is kind of unfair because this is just, a fun movie. I do agree with you with the pacing, though. I think some of the pacing, especially like the beginning of the second half of the movie, is a little slow. And I think this movie is a little long. They could have cut about 10 or 15 minutes. I know it's an hour and 46 minutes. This would have been perfect as just like a 90-minute runtime movie.
Agreed.
So it is a little long, but other than that, I definitely recommend it for people who like to have fun. And I think it's got some cool shots in it too. I don't know what it is. I love movies set in airplanes. That like super specific subgenre, like just speaks to me. I feel like, like Red Eye and other movies like that, dude, where they just
and there's fucking snakes on it.
Yeah. What's the other movie where she's looking for her daughter? Jodie Foster.
Flight Plan.
Mm-hmm. Flight Plan. That's another good one. Another good thriller.
Yeah,
so
Red Eye's top tier though.
Yeah. Well, that's your boy. That's yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the shots. Some of the shots were really cool, like outside the plane, watching the plane fly through the air, like pretty cool CGI shots. I was like, wow, they didn't have to do that, but they kind of went there with the cinematography, so that was cool to see. I wouldn't call this like an elevated B movie, but it takes itself seriously enough to where you can rewatch it and like have fun with it. Does that make sense? Like it's not.
I think what you're trying to say.
It's not like a Sharknado. It's like it's got a level of craftsmanship to it. Yeah, that you can really kind of like sit down and like have a good time with it and also laugh.
100% agree.
So I think it balances that pretty well. And it's early 2000s, so again, that's our sweet spot. All the acting and seeing all the zaps. Samuel L. Jackson's just at his peak at that point. I mean, at that point, he was known for saying "motherfucker" So I
And they
remember when the
just took
trailers came out
advantage of
and we heard that he was going to say that line, like that was kind of what built the movie up, I feel like.
Agreed.
So that's always fun. But yeah, I recommend it. Let's just let's get
Yeah,
into
you're
the
right. It's not sci-fi movie channel. It's like theater worthy. It's theater
no.
worthy. Like it was deserved to play in
Which
theaters.
is why
like,
I
it's
asked
not
about
a,
the budget,
yeah,
because I'm surprised
yeah.
it didn't have a higher budget, because it is pretty well
Yeah, they
made.
do a lot with that 33 million.
Yeah, they do.
Especially with all the actors like included in that. That's crazy. But I agree, yeah, it's not as low as Sharknado, but it's not like a prestigious horror movie. It knows what it is, that's all.
Yeah.
With the budget, with the production value. So yeah, I agree. Where
Yeah,
did you watch this? What streaming service, just in case people don't want to buy
I
the
had to
physical
rent
like
it.
me?
It wasn't available.
Okay.
It was like $2
So rent it,
on
guys.
Prime. Yeah, it's
All right,
definitely
rent
worth
it,
it
guys.
for a couple bucks. Just skip your next cup of coffee. Definitely worth it.
Exactly.
Well, maybe not for some people, but
Well, it might be cheaper than a cup of coffee some these days.
yeah, right. You're right. I know. Crazy.
All right, cool. So we both recommend it, guys. So before we get into it, check it out. It's a fun, breezy movie. But I agree. Could it trim 5-10 minutes? It would have been, A plus B movie.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. So you mentioned that you liked the first half of the movie. So what did you like about the beginning of the movie the most?
The beginning, opens with I didn't expect. I thought it was gonna open like with the snakes, something. But it opens actually more of like a dude. I'm really bad at the names. Let me just get the guy's name quick. Not that it matters.
Sean?
But Sean, yeah, Sean, he's like biking, he's an outdoorsy dude. And he hears an attack, and this mob guy is literally killing, what is that? I guess a lawyer who's like doing him dirty or something, whatever that is. It's just, some shady shit. But he witnesses the guy fucking like beats him to death with a bat, and you see the blood splatter. It's pretty gnarly. I was like, ooh, okay. I just like that that's how we're thrown into it. And then obviously he speeds off, and he's an idiot because this always bothers me. I know we wouldn't have a movie, but just wait till they leave and then speed off. Like, you would have been in the clear, but whatever. Because when he leaves, they hear the bike, and that's how. I mean, come on, people are stupid. But anyway, that's how he goes back to his apartment, and they're chasing. They're after him. He's watching the news. Typical setup, and that's when we meet Samuel L. Jackson's detective who comes to save him. And that's how we're brought to the airport because he has to go and testify and blah blah blah. And the whole scheme of it is this. What's the mob guy's name? I don't even know the guy's name. Whatever. I'm gonna call him Mob Guy. Oh, Eddie Kim or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something
So I'm gonna call him Eddie Kim. He obviously him and his boys they're the ones who plan to put the poisonous snakes on the plane to kill the dude and everybody. So it's ridiculous subplot. But I don't know. It's something about it's charming because then we go to the airport and we see everyone. Are introduced to all of our characters before we get on the plane. So we get a little bit of the vibes like that. We get that asshole dude who does something later in the movie that I think was not needed, but you knew once you saw that little dog that it wasn't making it through that plane ride in the opening scene. So animal lovers look away for a second, but he gets his in the end. So I love that. But yeah, you're getting introduced to all these different kind of characters, and some you're like, oh, I can't wait for the snakes to like fucking fuck them up. But the other guy's like, oh, now we're gonna have to watch these people die. Like poor Grace, poor Lynn Shay. She's such a hero in this movie. But yeah, I really, I don't know. I like the setup, and then I like the tension because once you're on that plane, like there's gonna be snakes popping out sooner or later. So I don't know. It's a good start. It's a good, build up. I like the build up. We've talked about this a lot. I'm really a guy who likes the build up in movies, and this one has a good build up before all hell breaks loose. And I just think once the second half, maybe more towards the third act hits, it kind of like slows down a bit too much. But I kind of think once the shit hits the fan, the first, half to 45, 50 minutes is just like balls to the wall. So that's why I like the first half more. That's all.
Yeah, it makes sense. You touched on the plot. The plot doesn't matter. All you really need to know is that Sean is in like the witness protection program, right, and they're trying to get him to LA, and Kim is a bad dude and they're in danger. Right. I mean, that's
exactly
like, and they don't really try to do anything too crazy with the plot. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like it'd be so much easier to just like blow the thing out of the sky, but it's snakes on a plane. Like, let's just
we need to get the snakes on the plane.
Yeah. I love that they set up the like the pheromones with the lays,
and the lays, and right?
You see everybody getting on the plane and everyone's getting the lays, so you're like, oh, these guys are all fucked. This is gonna be great. Yeah, it's so cool. I really love the when the snakes are first released with the oxygen masks when they all come down on people. That is fucking
Yes.
terrifying. Like if you put yourself in that
seems
situation,
scary.
yeah, it's not it's not scary
it's
watching it,
fucked
but
up.
if you think about it, like being in that
Yeah,
situation, you're like, wow,
exactly.
that's pretty fucked.
You
Yeah,
can't go anywhere. Where are you gonna go?
yeah. And you don't know if
Because I
the
love how
plane's
it's a
going
build
down
up.
either
No,
because
I
like
know.
things are malfunctioning and the
I know.
oxygen is being deployed.
Well, because the snakes, they're biting like the electrics and all that shit, the wiring and all that.
Yeah.
So everything's screwed up. So they're fucking a lot of shit up. But I love the build up where like the couple Taylor Kitsch and the girl, they like go to the bathroom, they're like the Mile High Club. You're like, oh, they're getting it first, and I cringe every time. Well, I don't. Well, I think it's they bite the snake, like gets her in the nipple. I'm like, that was the fucking hurt. Like perfectly gets her nipple. It's
Yeah.
hilarious, and then gets him. I think he gets it in the neck or something. But the guy when he's like taking a piss. And the one
Oh,
snake comes up the
man.
toilet and gets his dick. And he's like, oh, my dick. I'm like, I felt that, man.
Yeah.
I felt that. That was rough.
Yeah.
That was definitely reshoots. Like, how do we be so over the top?
Yeah. I love how he's like literally pissing on the snake too. And the snake's getting pissed off because it's getting pissed on, and then it waits until he's done.
I love how he actually dies from like slamming his head, not from the snake. It's so funny. But the one scene that also is when you mentioned it when the things come down and the one woman she goes to like barf in the barf bag, but there's a snake in it.
Yeah.
So
like, how the hell did it get in the bag? It's so stupid, but it's so fun. Yeah. It reminds me of that reminds me of like Anaconda, the movie. Not Anaconda, Arachnophobia.
Oh
how
yeah,
they like get in the popcorn bucket and stuff. Yeah.
But that one scene with like the big lady too, she's like sleeping and the snake's like almost like feeling her up through her dress, and then when she wakes up, it like goes through her eye.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Like, you're like that. Like I did not expect that. It's so intense. That's what I'm talking about. Like when it hits the fan, I'm like, whoa. And then I've always had a fear when Samuel L. Jackson's character, when he's telling everyone to like, I guess they're in first class, with a guy like everyone to run. There's people getting trampled, and I've always had I don't know why I've always had a fear of that, but like getting trampled, and they actually show like these people like going over them. Their like heels are getting stuck in their ears and their heads. I'm like, they didn't need to go that far, but they did. I'm like. That was intense.
Yeah.
That whole set piece, the set piece was awesome when it's all let loose. Mm-hmm. So good.
Yeah, no, that was intense. And this is where I had the biggest problem with the movie because this sequence is awesome. But then once they get to the middle of the plane and they're like boarding up the bags, not a lot happens for a while. Yeah. The only thing that happens is Grace not dies because she doesn't die for a while, but she goes and rescues the baby. That's really the only thing of significance, but
I wish they said
it's about 20 minutes because I counted it. It's like a 20-minute sequence where they're all just like in the middle of the plane and not a lot's happening. I think they're cutting to the one detective or whatever, Hank, I think his name is.
Who's like
who's in LA and who's trying to get the snake handler, but it kind of drags.
In a lot of movies too.
Like right after the plane is fucked with snakes, we get like this lull, and I think they could trim that down a bit, but yeah, that's like my only really nitpick of the movie because then it
I don't need to spend so much time with like 3Gs talking about his like germaphobes. I don't really care about that.
Yeah, they try to like have some character development with like 3Gs and with some of the other characters like Kenan Thompson's character, and it just kind of is like, okay.
I thought the kid stuff was effective when the little brother got bit and like they had to be there for each other. That was cute.
That was cute. Yeah, but like
that was
them trying to make us feel bad for people that like were assholes in the beginning of the movie. It wasn't fleshed out enough, and nor did I want it to be fleshed out enough. Like, let's just get back to the action. Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah,
with you
I agree. Yeah, but had little moments I liked. Other moments I'm like, we really didn't need that. But overall, it was fine. Oh, I love how that one flight attendant, like the dude who everyone thinks is gay, who ends up having like a supermodel wife. But he puts the one snake in the microwave. He's like, "Fuck you, dude! I got you."
He's actually one of my favorite characters. Especially because this is an early 2000s, like we said, 2006. It's a comedy. A lot of times they play into that like homophobic trope. And it turns out he wasn't gay, but like you think he's gay the whole movie. But he's a very capable character. He like like he doesn't die, so that he's not like stupid and like prissy. He's very capable. They do the joke with it's one of 3G's bodyguards. I can't remember which one. Where he's got the snake bite. Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, I'll do it for you," and he's like, "No, I don't want you to do it." But I mean, kudos to that guy for like
Yeah.
volunteering himself to like. I'm sure
He
he
was
didn't want
game to help.
I'm sure he didn't want to do that, but he was doing it to like help
No.
the dude, you know. And they played up for
And he
comedy,
has so much
but
common sense.
he was
Yeah.
he was a pretty good capable character. I actually liked him a lot. I enjoyed his character.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
He was funny, but he was very had a lot of common sense. And I felt,
Yeah.
and his reaction when Grace ends up, like all the flight attendants' reaction when Grace ends up,
Yeah.
passing away. I was like,
As soon as you find out that she's like supposed to be retired, like she makes a comment, like you knew she was dying. You're like, oh man, she's gonna get it.
And Lin Shaye, again, like she's not talked about enough, but even like after she's bit, I'm like, damn, she's acting. In Snakes on a Plane, she's acting.
Yeah.
So good.
I know.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with anyone movie. I just didn't need all like the 3G shit. But other than that, it's fine.
Yeah. And then we get to the most despicable part of the movie that you touched on. I think the guy's name is Paul.
He's such an asshole.
The like the British businessman or whatever.
Yeah. Mercedes is the girl with the dog.
Mercedes, yeah. Literally the most despicable thing a character could do. Like
I felt her screams.
He's got to be in your top 10 villains list for like
the most recent. Yeah,
I mean he's just,
an asshole,
and he gets it right away. So we get the big snake, the big anaconda falls through the plane. And I don't even remember. I guess they're trying to get away, but like they're already like to safety.
Right.
He didn't.
Like there's no need for him to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no.
He's
need.
like, oh, you would. It's a fucking dog. You would have did the same thing.
Yeah,
so he sacrifices the dog. Poor dog dies. I mean, at least it died instantly, probably.
Right. But the friggin' like Mercedes, she's like, what? Like she was actually good in that scene. Like I'm like, damn, I felt those tears. Like she's begging him, like stop, and then she's like, you asshole. And then he fucking gets it. I'm so happy. But he was an asshole before the snakes hit the plane. He was just a rude, arrogant son of a bitch to like, he treated everyone like shit.
Yeah, he was the one character. I mean, 3Gs was kind of a dick, but he was the one character where you couldn't wait for him to fucking die. And you knew he was going to
100%.
die.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that scene, but I love his ending because it's pretty intense too. And he gets a good death.
Mm-hmm. And then while this is going on, you have the like the cockpit scenes. You have the pilot and eventually gets it. So David Koechner is the co-pilot. He plays Rick. You think he gets it, but then he makes like this fucking miraculous comeback, and he like tries to save the day, but he eventually gets it again. So he dies. So the plane is just fucked. There's no pilots.
Oh, there's a pilot.
How did you feel about I wish they kind of played more to the big snake was more of like a boss. I wish like we really don't see that snake again until it kind of gets sucked out of the airplane.
I didn't mind. I get what you're saying. I didn't mind it that much because there were so many other cool gnarly snake scenes.
Yeah, it would have been cool if it got up to like the second level somehow and started like killing people and like picking them off or something. But
right,
just because it made such a grand entrance. It was like
for sure.
the biggest snake in there, like clearly.
Right.
So.
No, I agree. But it's cool that Samuel L. Jackson's on the phone with that guy you were talking about earlier, the guy who was like on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking to a snake expert, and he's like, send me pictures, send me this. So they're like prepping like the anti-venom pretty much for when they land. So it's I don't know, it's a cool back and forth with them.
I love the dated tech too, because he's like, oh, all right, Doc, I'll send you pictures, and then the one asshole dude's like, what the
fuck pictures?
What are you gonna develop them? Like, we don't have time for that.
They're like, email,
and then
email.
Mercedes is like, I have a BlackBerry, like we can email, and everyone's like, oh, that's so funny.
That was actually the asshole guy who said it. It's like, what do you mean? What are you gonna do? And she's like, Dick, BlackBerry, come on.
Yeah, email, duh. That was funny.
Yeah, so I kind of liked how they went back and forth and we like to the expert. It was cool, little, stupid. It was stupid.
I like that dude. Cool. His name is Dr. Stephen Price in the movie.
Yeah, he played a good nerdy doctor.
He did. He was very eccentric. He definitely believable. I could tell. Like you believe that he was a fucking exotic snake wrangler.
Right.
He was cool.
All right. So they have to land, and they're going to have the anti-venom, but they have to be able to land the plane. And like you said, both pilots end up dying. So, it's not really going smooth for them up there.
No.
But Troy said he can fly, who is Kenan Thompson. He's like, I can fly. I've landed a plane. And I love when, like, whatever they're called at the airport, like, whoever's in charge of the landing and all that. I don't know what their professional names are, but they're talking to him. They're like, okay, good, you flown me for? He's like, yeah. Like, okay, what airline? What kind of plane? He's like, whatever video game. He's experienced from playing video games. You need that in a movie like this. It's so stupid because he's shown playing a video game on the whole flight pretty much before that.
Yeah,
so
the whole plan
all comes back
to rid the snakes of planes too, or rid the snakes of the plane, is so ridiculous. It's literally the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. He shoots a couple windows. I mean, that could rip a whole plane apart.
Oh yeah,
so
they could have all just died in an instant.
I guess they were, desperate times, but that was kind of
so yeah. But he only shoots out 2 windows, so I mean,
but it ends up ripping an entire hole in the plane, and I guess every snake pretty much just
flies out.
Which again, I guess they had to wrap the movie up, so they had to like land the plane at that point
because it was kind of like the lower floor, so I guess they all kind of just like dropped out pretty much. But I mean, again, I'm not gonna critique a movie called Snakes on a Plane about its intelligence. But Troy, he makes the emergency landing, so happy ending.
Yep.
I don't know. There's just a lot of gnarly, cool death scenes that make it worth it. There's maybe a couple too many survivors for me, but I mean, there's a ton of people who died too. But then you get the last pop out with like the last remaining snake who like pops out and bites what's his face, Sean in the chest. But he's unharmed because Samuel L. Jackson shoots him, then they get rushed to him, but he's fine. So that's a little last pop out like you have to have in a horror movie. Because he had a vest on, so he was good. But everyone's safe, and then I love how it ends with them surfing because they're buddies now. Typical corny ending.
Yeah.
You gotta have a corny ending.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, this movie's a blast, man. I mean, I really don't see how someone who just can't sit down and like have a beer or have a bag of popcorn and just be like laugh at it and have fun with it and get disgusted by it a little bit too, because it has, like you said, it has some intense scenes.
There was 1 or 2 kills in particular. One kill especially, I don't remember who it was. He was like laying on the ground and the snake like just eviscerates him. I like audibly was like, oh, because I didn't remember it, and I was pleasantly surprised. Again, it's been a while. I was pleasantly surprised to see how gory it was and how much they showed it. That was a lot of fun. I just wish
going there.
I just wish that they had a little bit of, they didn't like eliminate all the snakes at once. They had like more like Samuel L. Jackson
like a final
actually
showdown,
like, killing them, going through and just like snapping their necks and stuff. That would have been fun. And then obviously there was no showdown with the big anaconda, but that's we got enough kills and stuff to satisfy us. So definitely not like a huge critique. That's the movie.
The line of the movie, though, I've had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. That line was everywhere.
Yes, it was. It was all over like the internet and stuff, like you said. My favorite line in the movie actually happens right after he says that. I think it's so funny. He goes, "Everybody strap in. Everybody strap in. I'm about to open some fucking windows."
I howled in the theater when he said that.
I was like, holy shit, man. They're getting all their F-bombs out of the way, like, in one shot. You could tell those were the reshoots, because he says, like, 3 or 4 F-bombs within, like, 2 minutes. You're like, oh, there they are.
I love it. Yeah, no one delivers them like him.
I know. So iconic.
But yeah, I mean, this is a fun movie. It's not something to talk about forever, but dude, it's super fun. I mean, come on.
Yeah, cool. Well, that's the movie, guys. Yeah, super short, sweet. Not much more to go over. It's just a fun movie. I'm excited to get into our Never Split Up moments, because I have like a cool one that I think is pretty obvious. But maybe you didn't. Maybe you didn't pick up on it. Maybe you have something else.
I didn't even think. Yeah, that's my. You go first, because I didn't think. You can go. I know I won, but just go first, because I'm like brainstorming.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I don't know mine.
You're gonna defer to me. Mine is. So my Never Split Up moment is the fact that they leave the pilots alone the entire movie.
Unbarricaded or
the entire movie. So the beginning of the movie, the one pilot gets bitten by the snake. So you know that there's snakes have infiltrated the cockpit. And then they leave, particularly Rick, the co-pilot, who's David Kochner, they leave him alone in the cockpit twice. He gets bit the first time, they find him, and then he comes back up. And then they leave him alone again in the cockpit. It's like, shouldn't there be someone with the pilot to make sure he lands this plane? Because they don't realize that the plane's going down until it starts to go down and they're losing altitude. Right. And they're like, oh, maybe we should check the pilot. It's like, what the fuck? You know? He's the most important person on that plane. Fuck Sean. Fuck, you know, everybody. Like, he needs to land this plane. So the fact that they left both pilots, but especially the co-pilot alone to his own, you know, cockpit for the entire movie, and he eventually unfortunately dies all alone because they just weren't paying any attention to him. That's going to be my never split up moment.
That's a good moment. I'm going to think of one. I know it's bad to say, but I know because some people should do it, but I really want to say that Grace like went by herself to get the baby. I know it's a baby, but you know, led to her death. I would have had someone come with me or something.
Yeah, I know, but that was a really touching scene where like she's
you know why? It's
saying,
because the mom was knocked out.
Yeah.
So no one else knew. She just heard the baby crying.
And she says to her friends, she said, I wasn't even supposed to be on this flight. Yeah. You know, isn't that ironic? And then the mom turns to her and she's like, you know, you were there for a purpose. You saved my baby. So
yeah,
if you want to pick that, but I mean, she saved the baby, dude. Come on.
I can't because I know she saved the baby, but she's my girl. I'm gonna just. What do I want to pick? This movie's all like dumb moments. Oh, okay. I'll pick Taylor Kitsch because when he goes into the bathroom, I really wanted to pick the beginning of the movie, but you wouldn't have a movie without that guy running away on his motorcycle. I was gonna pick that, but you can't do that. Yeah. I'm gonna say Taylor Kitsch because if he didn't, because they're smoking weed in the bathroom, if he didn't unscrew that thing, which really is probably not safe to do on an airplane, the snakes would not have come through and killed him right there. So I'm gonna pick that. You know, first of all, don't smoke on an airplane. Second of all, don't fucking unhook shit in an airplane. You're fucking got your hot girlfriend and yourself killed.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do that one.
Okay, cool.
I'll do that because I don't want to pick Grace because she did save someone, and I don't want to pick Sean because if he didn't ride away, we would never have snakes on a plane.
Mm-hmm. Well, cool. There's your PSA from Anthony. Don't smoke on an airplane. Don't deactivate the detector because you might get it.
The Mile High Club's fine, but don't be unscrewing shit.
All right, cool. I went first, so why don't you go first for the review? We'll get into our scores.
Okay, cool. Again, I'll be quick. I think it's a really awesome. It's summertime. It's a good summer horror popcorn blockbuster. That's how I would describe this movie. Fun characters, fun actors that you'll recognize. Some from back in the day that you'll get nostalgic about. Some that are still killing it now. There's some bloody scenes, so it's definitely a movie that, you know, I wouldn't show like a young kid to, but you know, if you're a preteen, this is gonna be awesome. Yes, there's bloody scenes. There's snakes on a plane, man, and there's Samuel L. Jackson. So I'm gonna go. It's a fun 7.6 for me because every time I watch it, I have a good time.
Okay, cool. Really high score. Yeah, for a B movie fun. Like this. Yeah,
one of the better B movies, I'll say, for me.
Mm-hmm. All right, awesome. I actually agree with you. I wasn't sure how dated this was going to feel. You picked this movie, our last episode. You said let's do Snakes on a Plane. I was like, okay, let's see how this movie goes. But I was pleasantly surprised. I had a really fun time with it, and I could see myself watching this again, come next summer or something. You know, like it's just a fun time, and everything you said, It's always really hard to like rate these B movies. They almost are in their own category because you know, I am gonna rate this pretty high too, but it always feels weird knowing I've rated other movies that are like technically better, like on a technical level, but that's not what we're rating. We're rating like just our enjoyment.
Yeah, entertainment.
So yeah, got to give kudos to the filmmakers for just like, you know, making the audience have fun too. That's a form of art as 100%. Well. So. I'm going to give this 7.2.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. 7.2.
So this is the check it out for everybody.
Yeah, I was on the borderline of like high sixes because that's like where I rated like, you know, like The Babysitter and stuff, but this is a pretty quality movie for like a fun B-rated movie. So I'm going to give it 7.2.
Cool. That's awesome.
That's about it, right?
I think so.
No more announcements.
Yes, because we don't really know exactly what we're gonna do next episode yet.
Yeah, again,
we'll announce it. We'll announce it.
Yeah, we'll announce it on Twitter and Instagram, I guess. What our next episode's gonna be. Look out for that. We might do something different, something unique. We might try something out that we haven't done before on the podcast. So look out for that. Not sure if it's gonna be next week or the week after. Again, it's the summertime. A lot going on. We got busy plans, so. But just keep a lookout on our social media. We'll definitely announce it when the next episode is. Definitely vote in our poll. I thought we had two pretty good moments. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at neversplituppod. And again, check out the older episodes if you are kind of looking for some more content from us. Especially the ones pre-YouTube. Like Anthony said, I thought we covered some big movies. We covered a few of the new releases last year, too. Last year was a great year for horror. We covered Smile, Barbarian. We covered The Black Phone. So those were really cool episodes that we enjoyed. So definitely check those out. And that's about it. Any final words, Ant, or anything?
No, yeah, you're right. Check out any of our, we have a pretty extensive catalog with 31 episodes. So if you guys are just, finding us now, check out the episodes. Subscribe. I know it's annoying, but the subscribing on YouTube is really what, we're looking for. So if you can do that, we'll be able to, communicate with you more on there once you unlock the features like you've been saying. Check out our episodes. Let us know, even if you want to comment on any posts, let us know certain movies that you're looking forward to us covering, or any ideas of different kind of episodes, whether it be ranking or different kind of episodes you want to see, because we're down to try and experiment new things, especially when we're in this weird transition to the fall spooky season. So we're down to try whatever. So yeah, just keep supporting if you can.
Yeah, definitely. And in addition to that, we love hearing from you guys. We actually have a couple new reviews on iTunes, on Apple Podcasts, that we haven't announced. We'd like to shout out you guys. So Alexander75 wrote, he gave us 5 stars. So thank you, Alexander.
Nice.
He wrote, Never Split Up has quickly become one of my favorite horror movie podcasts. I love their passion for the genre and listening to what they have to say. These two are definitely worth listening to. Thank you so much, Alexander. We appreciate it. Thank you for checking us out and being a loyal listener. And then our most recent review is from Philcast Movies. He gave us 5 stars. And he said, Anthony and Nolan know their stuff, passionate about scary movies, worth a listen. Thank you so much, Phil. I know we both follow him on Twitter. He also has a podcast. I think it's Philcast.
Phil at the Movies.
Phil at the Movies.
Yeah, Phil at the Movies.
So check him out. Thank you for the review, Phil. And that's about it for...
Yeah. Oh, I also want to shout out, I have a buddy on Twitter, Robert Anthony. He is awesome. He shares our episodes and makes sure, retweets and supports and listens. Him and Scream with Ryan C. Showers, they really help us out as much as they can. So, love those guys. Give them both a follow on Twitter if you're horror people, because, you'll love to see what they have to say. And me and Robert Anthony have a lot of similar opinions. So it's always good to find someone like that to chat with online. So yeah, follow them, and thank you guys for supporting us. It means a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, that's Anthony. I'm Nolan. This is the Never Split Up podcast, and we'll see you later. Bye.